Hello everybody, Disciple here. So it seems like you guys really loved our first couple t-shirt designs, and I'm really excited to see you guys wearing them at events that we go to like BlizzCon, PAX, and DreamHack. But I wanted to share a new design that we just came out with that features D.Va, and I honestly think it is amazing. The artist did such a good job on it, and I am so excited for the couple shirts that I've already ordered to get here. But if you guys want to get them, head down to the link below. It's available in men's and women's cuts. And anyway, let's get started. Modding and community-created content are pretty commonplace in PC gaming today, and they've even encroached into the console gaming realm as well in recent years. Now, Blizzard's no stranger to the modding scene, with its communities creating things like thousands of World of Warcraft mods aimed to make the game interface more customizable and suit the player's playstyle, and dozens of StarCraft and StarCraft 2 maps and custom modes that breathe new life into the game long after the official content has run its course. Now it seems like this legacy of high-grade, community-made custom content is making its way to Overwatch, eventually. Now, a custom map editor in Overwatch would completely change the non-competitive, non-official aspects of the game and bring a huge and varied stream of content to the game that the developers wouldn't really be able to match with their own in-house teams. Swarms of people would begin to develop their modding and map making skills for Overwatch, be able to submit their creations, and play on them alongside millions of other players in the community. The challenge is to bring these modders the tools and support they need to properly craft their designs as easily and streamlined as possible. The potential benefits to Overwatch and the community are pretty overwhelming when you think about giving creative powers to the entire population and letting them run free with it. Now, some of the best maps, modes, characters, and fun have been created by external modders that had the right tools and the right vision. If you guys have ever played a MOBA before, just know that those actually began in StarCraft and Warcraft mods and developed into an entire game genre by themselves. And some of the most fun that I've ever had playing StarCraft has been in custom community created game modes, not just the official 1 vs 1 or 2 vs 2. Now recently, Jeff Kaplan went on record talking about how much the team would love to get the map creation tools into the hands of the modders the world over. The development team has been talking about mod tools since well before release, and they're keeping to their word on how much they want to bring the toolset to life. To quote the most recent forum post, Kaplan said, "We are extremely open-minded about releasing a map editor for Overwatch someday, but because Overwatch was made with a brand new engine, this is not a small task or one which can happen anytime soon. We have this on our long-term roadmap and believe heavily in user-made content. But there are many challenges ahead of us, and it will be a long road before our editor can be made available to the public." Now, this is almost a direct confirmation that a map editor will be released in the future. Just might not be for a decent amount of time. Now, these are very powerful tools and, if properly executed, can give players enormous creative potential for all sorts of things in Overwatch. We definitely know that it'll be incredibly hard for the team to make, but we also know that the team is incredibly capable as well. They just have a lot of other things on their plate, and we've seen a lot in the past how certain things are pushed back in order to make room for other promises they made or other priorities in the team. For example, we know that replays are coming, but for now they're focusing more on updating play of the game and the highlight system. Now, the maps we currently play on are all extremely detailed, well planned out, and they cater to a given rule set in the game to ensure fair play and fun. It's extremely easy to make a map or mode imbalanced and one-sided. Just look at the first choke point in Eichenwald, for example, which has been changed now to bring more balance to that particular area because it was just so incredibly difficult for the offense. Now, it's going to take a lot of creative thought, energy, and a balanced gameplay focus to create really special and awesome maps that the whole community will enjoy. However, there are many challenges that the team would have to overcome before getting such a powerful tool into the community's eager hands, but the possibilities are really exciting. Now, there are several shooters on the market now that allow map editing and have some really great maps to show for it. A pretty good example of a tried and true map type is a training area of some kind to train a player or team against very specific challenges. A creator could craft a sniper training map where AI enemies and bots move fast and sporadically through corridors and around obstacles and can only be killed by headshots. Or perhaps there could be a healing scenario where allied bots are taking lots of fire in a panic situation, and it's up to the player to keep them alive for as long as possible while honing your skills to keep a team alive. Perhaps a FARA or projectile training area where you can only kill an enemy if you're in the air and can land a direct hit, or maybe even the opposite of that, where it's 6 FARAs and you have to kill them all while they're firing at you constantly up in the air. Many of the existing maps have more open areas that are great for larger team fights, but perhaps a close quarters combat map might make for some really hectic gameplay in a different form. Maybe a busy urban city area with streets, alleys, and vehicles moving around in tighter areas could force fights to be pretty close. Or maybe a skyscraper rooftop map that has players launching from roof to roof via a custom-made cannon or just using their built-in mobility and kind of leaving behind the immobile characters. Now the possibilities are incredibly endless and really only limited to the tools that are given to the modders, and we'll have to see what Blizzard ends up giving them. Custom game modes would definitely be in the mix for modders, allowing them to create maps very similar to things that you've already seen in the arcade, such as the brawls or the PvE events like Junkenstein's Revenge. Now the Halloween event was particularly popular because players could team up against waves of enemies and AI-controlled heroes to try and conquer the scenario as fast as possible, and it was just really fun. Using this kind of AI control plus the map-to-map progression we see in control maps we play on now could lead to a sort of mini-game story-driven map set. You start on one map with several waves of enemies, and then potentially move on to the second map with even stronger enemies, or just a completely different challenge, and then end up on a third map with more waves and maybe even a boss-like fight, and a super pumped up enemy hero at the end that you could kill. If it's possible to modify the in-game rule sets, modders could potentially raise the player limit and test out things like 10 versus 10 matches, or smaller sets like 2v2 and 4v4 on a much smaller map. If the tools are strong enough, we might even see things like custom assets in the game. For example, objects like trees, foliage, street signs, vehicles, building material, full-size structures, and more could all be crafted using the tool's parameters and 3D and image editing software to make Overwatch-esque custom graphics on custom models. Perhaps atmospheric effects like weather and time of day can be created to give a map a new dimension of challenge. Try fighting on your favorite maps during a rainstorm or heavy fog, or maybe a large-scale blizzard has fallen and covered some passageways in snow, restricting their access, only to open up more verticality as you climb up snowy embankments and ice-covered water sources. The modders could change the colors and tones in the game world itself as well, like a black and white battle, sort of like the effect at the end of the Hollywood map, or maybe a night vision mode where you see everyone in infrared. In Oasis, we've seen NPC omnics as butlers and flying bots scanning things. Now this could be extended to create maybe human models that hang out in the environment and go about their business, adding even more immersion to the match. Imagine battling on that same busy urban city area and watching NPC humans and omnics running for cover or just going about their business. You could even possibly have interactive models that do things for you when you approach them, like maybe have some sort of ability they use on you or your opponents. Now, I'm sure that some of this is beyond the scope of what Blizzard is intending, but if they just give the community the tools that they need, I'm pretty sure that we could come up with just about anything. The creativity and the ability of the community is pretty much unrivaled from what I've seen in the gaming community, and I think it would be absolutely fantastic if we could create just as much as possible and really make Overwatch a much larger game than what it is now. I could definitely see the map editor having a big place on our YouTube channels as well, because I would have so much fun featuring some community maps, maybe playing some games against you guys on some very cool maps as well, or even creating custom maps and game modes alongside you guys, where we try and bring it to the community and get more people to play them alongside us. All of it sounds absolutely so amazing, and I really can't wait to try it out. And I've got to say, it's the one thing that I'm most excited about in Overwatch's future, next to the Overwatch League. So the main reason we don't already have a map editor and modding tools is because the in-house tools were just developed so specifically for the internal team, and Overwatch was created on a brand new engine that Blizzard created themselves. This combo makes the learning curve on the necessary software very steep and hard to manage for an average user, and it potentially gives them a little bit too much knowledge and information of the internal workings, which could be a safety issue when it comes to hacking or other exploits in the game. Also, the user interface and specifics are tailored to the team at Blizzard and not for general consumption by the end user, which is something that Blizzard would have to do to make sure that the UI was accessible to the community before they created it. On top of that, the software would have to be robust enough to encompass all of the different aspects of creating not only the map itself, but any events that happen on the map, any custom assets, as well as any third-party programs that might be used in the creation as well, all without huge technical skill requirements and bugs in the program. Obviously, you can see it's a massive undertaking, and it's probably the biggest reason why we won't see a custom map editor in the next few months, but hopefully maybe within a year we could have something. Either way, whether you're excited for a map editor, modding tools, or just to see what the community creates, the fact remains that this would be a huge step for the game and community, and it would just keep the game fresh and interesting pretty much forever. How far the tools go and how much control you have over the assets is yet to be seen, but even if the devs only let us play around with assets in the game and rule sets governed by the already established play modes, it could be an immensely powerful piece of creation. Alright guys, well that was it for me today, but I'd love to know what you guys think about the map creation and map editor and what you guys would like to try out yourselves. I always love hearing from you guys and always check out the comments, so don't be afraid to leave a comment or a like. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.